Alright, here we go again. So, unless I'm mistaken, I think we've done all the sort of beginner stuff around Tavali. So we're going to do the Combat Academy, which gives us lots of XP lamps. So I was going to do this while I was grinding, but I actually thought it'll be interesting to see what I can do once I've got everything quite high. So anyway, we'll start this.
Welcome to the Combat Academy, fellow adventurer.
My face looks a bit warped there, a bit funny. Can I learn about combat
You
here?
look like you know your stuff, but I could always use a hand demonstrating things to my students.
I was about to say, don't say no, you've got loads of XP lamps for me. So here we go, so basically there is, when I can hit this scroll, there's 7 sort of what they call them as courses, and 3 levels. You get a lamp for each level. Obviously if you complete all 3 you get 3 lamps, which is absolutely brilliant. So let's start. This is something you should do right at the start, really.
Greetings, students and guests, and welcome to my Combat Academy.
The guy's wearing full dragon paying attention to me, alright.
Today, this adventurer is going to help demonstrate the basics of combat to you all.
Okay.
First, we're going to show how best to get into combat.
The snow looks really odd, how it just like cuts off there. So, sorry. First we are going to show how best to get into combat. So what, you want me to hit it? You haven't actually said what you want me to do.
Show these students how it's done. Attack the training dummy.
Okay. Punch it to
This
death.
is how I expect you all to engage an opponent in combat.
By mindlessly
Now.
punching it.
Let's go over the 2 most basic rules of combat.
Okay.
Rule number 1. Do not die.
I love, like, someone might be writing this down. Okay, don't die. There is more information on your health bar in the task panel, that's fine. No, let's continue.
Rule number 2. Defeat your opponent.
Okay, love, I think you're conning people. I hope you don't charge for this course. There is more information on your opponent's health bar in the task panel. That's fine. No, we should press on.
Needless to say, if you do get hit, it's going to hurt.
Yup. The hit splats currently showing on your character are standard hit splats. These hit splats are ability hit splats. Abilities will cover in later tutorial. There is more information on hit splats in the task panel, but we're okay with that. So let's carry on.
Always be on your guard. You never know what dirty tricks your opponent may be willing to use.
Okay.
See? Never take your foe for granted.
He disappeared.
A good way to keep one step ahead of your opponent is to be well supplied. Food is a good place to start. Adventurer, grab some food from the table.
I've got to restore my health now. I just love
Now, let's show the class how effective food can be.
I just love the logic. You get hurt, eat some food. Imagine that was in real life. So grab a couple.
As you can see, food will help you endure longer battles.
Yep.
Now we will show how all these elements of combat come together. Give us a moment while the adventurer gets some more food from the table.
Oh, I need more food. Get my health up to 4. Basically, you do what she says, and you complete the advanced levels. Is pretty much the gist.
Let me know when...
Oh, sorry. Do you want to start the demonstration? Yep.
For this demonstration, my friend here will slay a lowly skeleton with his bare hands.
Will I? Oh god, not the skeleton. Oh, 1 damage. Oh, there we go. That was a Mike Tyson punch. So there we go, so we get legend, so once we redeem our lamps and whatnot, we'll get free just for that one. So we'll jump straight into the next one.
For this session, we will be demonstrating the different combat disciplines available to you. There are 3 different disciplines: melee, ranged, and magic.
It's the combat triangle.
Each discipline has a variety of equipment available to it, especially weapons. Weapons will make you a more fearsome opponent. To start with, my adventurer friend will go and get a weapon from the melee equipment stand.
To the melee equipment stand.
Now, let's show the class how a real adventurer uses a weapon.
Where's the adventurer? Oh, it's me.
As you will all see, using the best equipment you can is a good way of giving yourself the edge in combat.
Using a weapon is better than punching, got it. Now, punch it. Now kick it.
Melee weaponry is designed for getting up close and personal with your opponent. A melee combatant will use stabbing, slashing, and crushing weapons. Next, we will show you ranged weaponry.
Well, as you can see, I finished buying 100 bear fur. Like I was saying, that's for the defense potions. I'm sure that's what I said.
Most ranged weapons require ammunition. Without ammunition, you can't hurt anything.
Yeah, and I think you get like either 35 or 45 experience for every defense potion you make as well, which is absolutely awesome. And a bit of profit as well.
Go on, stick some arrows in the dummy.
And it's nice AFK training, to be honest.
Ranged weaponry allows you to stay at a distance and run circles around your enemy. A ranged combatant can use arrows, bolts, and thrown weapons. Finally, we will show you how to use magic. Magic works differently to melee and ranged. You cast spells to inflict damage.
I assume it's going to just auto.
Normally, magic spells require runes to cast, much like ranged ammunition. Some weapons, such as that wand, reduce or remove the need for runes.
Amazing. Oh. What I cast?
You can cast magic spells without a wand or staff, but your spells will be dramatically more effective when you do use one.
Huzzah!
Magic relies greatly on binding your opponent to keep them at a distance. A magic user will cast air, water, earth, and fire spells. Here's a refresher of what we've just learnt. I'm going to call out combat disciplines, and the adventurer will switch weapons to demonstrate each one.
Sounds good to me.
Let's start by attacking the dummy with melee.
Okay. You just got to be sure to do everything correctly, because if you do something wrong, then obviously you won't complete the course to the desired level to get the next lamp.
Ranged.
I'm guessing magic is next. Ooh. See, I'm magic. Boop. Does she not like the boop? Boop.
Excellent. Now, let's hope our students have learnt what weaponry is available to them.
Yeah, I'm sure the guy in full dragon found that useful. And another legend rank. On to the next one. Oh, is she going to talk? Or is it just delayed? Am I going to do it for her? Okay. Like everything in life, combat has a natural cycle. Well, is she going to speak? I don't think so. Anyway, like everything in life, combat has a natural cycle.
In the previous session, we introduced the 3 combat disciplines. These interact with each other in an important pattern. Here are 3 skeletons, each representing one of 3 combat disciplines. Listen carefully as I explain the relationship each discipline has to the others.
Okay.
Melee attacks are most effective against ranged armor. However, they're ineffective against magic armor.
Okay.
Ranged attacks are most effective against magic armor, but they're ineffective against melee armor.
Gotcha.
Lastly, magic attacks are most effective against melee armor, However, they are ineffective against ranged armor.
Gotcha.
That is what is known in the trade as the combat triangle.
Cool.
It may seem like a lot to take in, but just remember. Melee has the edge against ranged. Range gets the better of magic. And magic is powerful against melee.
Yep.
If you remember these simple rules, you can better prepare yourself for fighting different opponents.
No, sounds good to me. All makes sense, but we should carry on.
We will now demonstrate how quickly an experienced combatant can react to the combat triangle. My friend here will now attack one of the skeletons. Equip yourself, adventurer. Let's start by attacking the melee skeleton.
Okay, so we want to go get the old magic stuff. Oh, I already got the ones equipped. Sorry, that took me a bit off guard. I was waiting for the stuff to appear in the inventory. So let me guess, the range next?
Now attack the ranged skeleton.
No problem. So we'll grab on our melee armour. Boom.
Excellent.
And then mage next.
Now attack the magic skeleton.
Brilliant. Well, I said, this is a bit tedious if you know the game, but you get nearly a full inventory of XP
This
books.
was a prime example of how to best manipulate the combat triangle. Learn it. It will save your life.
Yeah, I bet it will. That wasn't sarcasm. Another legend. Brilliant. So let's get on to the next one.
For this session, we will be identifying and exploiting our opponent's weaknesses. First, you need to understand that different weapons inflict different kinds of damage.
Sounds legit.
There are 3 types of damage you can deal with melee weapons. Weapons such as daggers, spears, and short swords have stabbing points.
Okay.
Long swords, battle axe, and scimitars have slashing blades. Finally, maces, warhammers, and mauls have crushing heads.
Gosh, you got really into that.
Now, let's further inspect a typical melee weapon. The blade or head of the weapon dictates whether it is suited to stabbing, slashing, or crushing.
Yep. Yeah, so we continue. So if you
Now we shall cover ranged weaponry.
examine the weapon,
The
you find
damage
out
you
anyway.
cause will depend on the ammunition you use. Short bows and shield bows use arrows. Pistol crossbows and heavy crossbows use bolts. Thrown weapons are a damage type in themselves. These include knives and javelins. Now, let's look at a typical ranged weapon. Arrows, bolts, and thrown projectiles each cause damage in different ways.
More information is needed, but that's fine. We'll continue. We know.
Finally, the different kinds of spell. Air spells. Water spells. Earth spells. Fire spells. Now, let's examine a magic spell. Your spellbook will tell you which element a spell belongs to. Air, water, earth, or fire.
Yeah, we know all this. Like I said, this sort of stuff you need to be doing at the beginning when you're a bit new to the game. At this point,
At first glance, you may not notice what your opponent is vulnerable to. You will need to inspect your enemy carefully. Let's look at how to do that.
so you just examine, weak against slashing.
When you know what you're looking for, you can read your opponent like a book. In this case, we can identify that our opponent is ill-equipped for defending against melee, with a specific weakness.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but we will continue.
An opponent who has a specific weakness to stabbing, slashing, or crushing weapons will be almost as weak to melee weapons in general. Likewise, having a strong weakness to arrows or bolts or throwing weapons makes your opponent broadly poor against ranged weapons. And of course, a specific weakness to air, water, earth, or fire will also indicate a general weakness to all magic spells. Exploiting the specific weakness can give you an upper hand, but failing that, you should use one of the other damage types in the same combat discipline. In your travels, you should expect to meet formidable opponents that do not show a weakness. Then, any combat discipline will be equally effective. Now, let's demonstrate how to exploit the weakness your enemy shows. Inspect the dummy and attack it appropriately.
Cool. So now we can do something. So we just literally examine it. So it's weak against, is that stabbing? Yeah. So go over to the old melee combat set. And then basically just hover over it. That's the stabbing one. And then go into stabby stabby.
Excellent. Try another.
So, oh shit. Oh, I thought I clicked it. Like I said, then I'd have to have done this whole thing again. So weak against arrows. That's cool. Arrows. And you can retry these, so if you do fail one or don't do it to the legend ranking, you can retry them at any point. So, and you don't have to go through the whole lot. You can just pick that course number, so it's not too bad.
Excellent. Try another.
And then mage is last. Earth. And then the only thing with magic is just make sure you swap which one you're doing. Where's the earth one? There we go. Because if you hit it with the wrong spell, then you won't get a legend ranking, obviously.
Great. That'll do. Now, I hope you've all seen the benefits of exploiting your enemy's weaknesses.
Woohoo! On to the next one.
Okay, before we move on to some more advanced combat, we need to learn an important lesson. Preparation is everything.
You bitch.
Sorry about that, but I think I made my point.
No, you didn't.
When we're in combat, it's important to have everything we might need quick to hand. The best way to achieve this is to prepare, so that when we need something, it's at our fingertips. Our fellow adventurer will now prepare for the course.
Alright. So let's grab some food. Foodage. And I think it wants us to put one of the trouts on our hotbar. And then we'll grab the ranged. Why not? I do like ranged.
First, we're going to attack the dummy as before.
Okay, gotcha. So attack.
These attacks are okay for taking down weak enemies, but what if we want to deal some serious damage?
And you kick him in the nuts.
You can use some special attacks called abilities. These allow us to be a bit more creative while fighting.
Okay.
There are many types of ability. One even makes your normal attack stronger. Let's just deal with something basic to start with.
Please. Sorry, let's continue.
On your person, you should each have a book detailing the different abilities.
Yeah.
You should refer to this to see the abilities you can perform and to select abilities that you may need in upcoming battles.
Okay.
Our fellow adventurer will now perform an ability.
Will I? There's a lot of pressure. Oh, let's continue. So, click and drag in the most awkward way possible. So, the action bar has many uses in Runescape. It's capable of being used as a shortcut for more than just abilities and items. It's capable of being used for prayer, summoning, emotes, that's quite cool, and much more. I didn't know that it could be used for emotes, that's quite good actually. After this session, you should spend some time seeing what can and cannot be dragged onto the action bar. That's a good idea.
Okay, now that we're prepared, we can attack this dummy with an ability.
Okay. So click this and attack.
Many abilities require a certain amount of skill in their particular discipline.
Yup.
Others require specific weapons, such as two-handed weapons or dual-wielded weapons.
Okay. So let's continue.
After using an ability, you'll be unable to perform it again for a short while.
Because there's a little cooldown.
Because of this, think carefully about the order in which you trigger your abilities. Otherwise, you might later need one that you accidentally use now.
Let's continue.
Now that we know about abilities, let's have a more practical demonstration.
No problem.
Give my fellow adventurer time to gear up, and when he comes back to me, we'll begin.
Okay. So we'll stick with ranged. See no reason not to.
Are you ready to begin the practical demonstration?
Absolutely.
Okay, soon our fellow adventurer will be totally surrounded by vicious skeletons.
Oh, but she's such a nice woman.
To prove the power of abilities, he will take on all of these skeletons at once and kill them all.
Yep. And you can have the combat thing just to do your abilities automatically. I don't think that's the most optimal way to do it though. But I am doing it at the minute. Just because I'm a bit lazy, if I'm honest. But they don't do a very good job, unless I'm mistaken, they don't do a very good job at actually telling you about this Combat Academy. I only know because someone messaged me in-game about doing it, which was quite kind. I won't always do stuff that's requested of me, obviously, in-game, but stuff that people might not know about, you know, I see no reason not to. So anyway, another legend rank, so on to the next one.
Now that we've learned how to use basic abilities, let's deal some real damage.
Cool.
As you fight, you'll build adrenaline. This can be used to perform powerful attacks.
She isn't wrong.
Let's see what adrenaline can do. First, we are just going to attack the dummy without using abilities.
Okay.
Using basic combat...
Game started auto. She should really turn that off for you, but let's just attack it normally. Might have to talk to her. Might have annoyed her though. Come on.
Using basic combat abilities fills your adrenaline quicker than normal attacks do.
Yep.
So let's build adrenaline by using some basic abilities.
Okay. So, do it all myself, that's absolutely fine. But just greater control and better DPS anyway. Because it will always be in the order that you want.
Now we've gained a decent amount of adrenaline, we can have some real fun. Once we have 50% adrenaline, threshold abilities use up. Make sure you've got 50% adrenaline and use a threshold ability on the dummy.
The only reason I click through fast, is because of that. Because then you lose adrenaline and then you've got to wait another little bit to be able to do what she's told. Basically, there's some the next abilities that we're doing need 50% adrenaline to be used. And then after that she'll talk about the 100% ones.
Now that we've shown you thresholds, it's time to put out some real pain. If we fully build up our adrenaline, we can unleash devastating attacks called ultimate abilities.
Dun dun dun.
Let's show them something impressive.
Alright, so build up, and this basically requires 100% adrenaline. It's like the big boy attack. And the guy in the dragon armour is going to be loving this. Either that or he's putting us on You've Been Framed or something. On YouTube, taking on Michael out of us. So we just want to be using basic abilities, nothing too taxing. Just building out to 100%. That's the reason why I skipped for her the first time a little bit quicker, because otherwise, where she talks for so long, you go back to 0, and it just takes a while. And then number 8.
Okay, time for a more practical demonstration.
So that sounds cool.
Re-gear, grab some food, and then speak to me when you're ready to begin.
I'm already ready. I'm loving it.
Are you ready to begin the practical demonstration?
Yep, let's crack on. Yes.
It's time to see all 3 types of abilities used together. Show them what you're made of, adventurer.
No problem. Right, there we go. So basically you've got to use the basic abilities, then ability at 50%, and then one at 100%. But I struggled doing this once because I just kept killing him too quick. I kept just thinking I was doing something wrong, to be honest. Which I probably am, but who knows? So we'll do number 6, and that's the 50% one. Might have to do this again because he's quite low on health already. We're only at 50% general one. And basically she doesn't tell us off, but then you don't get the legend ranking. There's 3 rankings. You just get like the normal one, whatever that is. Don't know, we might get lucky. No, I think we're going to kill it, which is actually really annoying. No, we're going to kill it. That's really annoying. Never mind, so you only get hero. So I'll do that. I'll carry on doing what we're doing and I'll go back and do that afterwards. It's no problem.
While the damage output of abilities is great, that's not the only reason to use them. Abilities have different effects. They can allow you to vary the way damage is dealt, they can be used to debilitate your opponent, and some can be used to defend yourself. You can read about the specifics in your ability book, but for now we'll go over some common effects.
Okay.
First up, there are 2 ways of restricting your opponent: binds and stuns. A bind will stop your opponent from moving. A stun will not only stop your opponent from moving, but it will also prevent them from performing any actions. This includes eating food to heal up. Let's take a look at what a stun can do.
Let me guess, you're going to stun me? You be arch. You. There is more information on stuns in the task panel. Task panel's over here, just in case you were curious. But no, we'll continue. We get it. We can't.
As you saw, the adventurer couldn't perform any actions. That is because he was stunned.
By you.
Abilities such as anticipation and freedom can protect you from this, but time them wisely. I think it's time I took a hit. Perform a stun ability on me.
Absolutely. Need to get leave by mistake.
There
we go.
The next effect I'd like to explain is damage over time. These abilities will inflict a set amount of damage split up into multiple hits over a short period.
Okay.
These abilities are great. They allow you to increase the amount of damage that your opponent is receiving in a set amount of time, as you can continue to attack while the damage over time ability is in effect.
Sounds good to me.
For example, my next attack will hit this adventurer for the same amount of damage that I would inflict with a spell, but over a period of 6 seconds.
Yep, so we know about that, so she's now going to just beat us up because she's a bitch. And we'll continue.
Adventurer, could you use a damage over time ability on me, please?
Oh, absolutely.
Next up, we're going to cover combo attacks.
Okay,
Combo attacks perform multiple attacks within one ability.
sounds good.
However, unlike damage over time, these abilities don't allow you to perform other attacks while damage is being inflicted.
Okay,
If you perform another ability or action, it will interrupt and the combo attack will end early. Also, your opponent can interrupt your combo attack by performing a stun ability on you. You can interrupt an opponent's combo attack in the same way.
Got your stun 'em, can't do
Here
it.
is an example of a combo attack.
That's a pretty lame combo attack, but let's carry on.
Okay, adventurer. Hit me with a combo attack.
Yep, absolutely glad, mate.
Now, we're going to cover multiple target attacks.
Yep,
These attacks hit multiple targets at once. They center on your current target and also hit those adjacent to it.
gotcha. Yep, there's more information, but we're fine. We should continue.
I'm going to leave the demonstration of this one to my fellow adventurer. Use a multiple target ability on these combat.
Absolutely, and quite gladly. I love these.
Okay.
Well, I don't know why she's said.
Are you ready to begin the practical demonstration?
Yep, because you got a bit messed up.
Attack the skeletons. Remember to show off your ability effects.
Absolutely. So just kill all the skeletons, use your abilities. Ta-da! I was hoping there was just one. Yeah, basically you've got to just do everything she's shown you. Which ain't too taxing. Right, if we do a combo... Taking this proper seriously, that like these aren't like level 1 skeletons. Yeah, and I made some imp robes. So I thought that might have been a good way to make money, but it really... There we go, all done, but like I said, I missed one, so I'm just going to quickly do that, then I'll be back. There we go, so that was nice and quick. So if we talk to her now...
Welcome to the Combat Academy, fellow adventurer.
Hello, fellow adventurer. Then you just basically ask her, could I get any rewards I've not yet claimed?
There you go.
And then, drum roll, ta-da, a whole inventory nearly of reward books. So I'm just going to quickly look what I want to do with them, and then we'll join back to see what levels we get. So there we go, I decided to get our prayer to 31. I wanted to get summoning quite high because I thought without the charms we're going to have to actually make an active job to farm them. So if I can avoid doing that for a while, that would be nice. So I decided to get that to 24. I got Slayer to 17, and obviously, like I said before, Prayer to 31. So I'm quite happy with that, and there's a lot of high levels in that through, you know, this silly little thing that we're doing now. So it's not too shabby. And that was the story of my adventures for today. Still here? There's nothing left. Just me rocking in a chair. Honestly, the video's done. What are you even doing? Well, if you're still here, you might as well drop a like and a subscribe. Catch you later, everyone. Peace.